Welcome to Artificial Intelligence, Unorthodox Lessons, the place where we dive deep into the practical realities of AI. You shared some fascinating material with us today, all centered around building successful AI products, particularly within startups. It's clear you're keen to understand the key pitfalls and how to navigate them, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack for you in this deep dive.
Sounds exciting. I'm eager to delve into these practical realities with you.
We're looking at an article that draws on real-world experience to highlight three critical mistakes AI startups often make, and more importantly, how to avoid them. The author's background includes actively promoting best practices in AI strategy and development, so they've seen these issues firsthand. Our mission today is to extract the most crucial insights for you, offering practical guidance to safeguard your own path in the AI landscape.
I think that's a crucial mission, especially for startups navigating the often complex world of AI.
Okay, let's jump right in. The first big mistake the article flags is choosing the wrong use case. It really emphasizes finding a use case that genuinely delivers value to customers. It's not about the coolest tech, but tangible benefits.
Absolutely. And what's particularly interesting is the direct link the article makes to cost reduction at the enterprise level.
You're right, it really hammers that home.
If your AI solution can't demonstrably save them money, gaining trust, and business becomes a significant hurdle, you really need to offer a strong value proposition right out of the gate.
Makes sense. It's business after all. And another key point it drives home is that AI isn't a silver bullet for every problem. Sometimes the problem might be poorly defined, or the customer might not even have the necessary data.
Right. Or sometimes the technology itself just isn't mature enough to effectively tackle the task.
Exactly. And the article uses a really great example talking about large language models, or LLMs, for things like answering questions and summarizing text.
Ah, yes, I remember that section.
Yeah.
Those tasks were incredibly complex not long ago, and now they're almost readily available off the shelf.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing how quickly things are changing. So for your AI product, you've really got to focus on those problems where AI can offer a genuinely unique and valuable advantage.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And to help with that, the article introduces this interesting framework, the expectation complexity framework.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It's basically a way to assess if the potential benefits the expectation of your AI solution outweigh the complexity of actually building and deploying it.
Precisely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where the value outweighs the effort.
I like that the sweet spot. And for those who might find that kind of framework a bit overwhelming, the article also suggests a more straightforward approach, sticking to well-known use cases in the industry where there's already a proven need and established solution.
Yeah, that's a solid strategy for those starting out. It reduces some of the initial uncertainty.
So for all you listeners out there, the key takeaway from this first point is prioritize practical, value-driven applications. Don't just chase the newest, shiniest AI tech out there. Start with the problem your customer has, not the solution you want to build.
Yeah. It's about solving real-world problems, not just building something cool because you can.
Exactly. That initial excitement about a groundbreaking idea needs to be grounded in practicality and a clear understanding of the actual value it will provide.
Couldn't agree more. Now, moving on to the second mistake.
Mm.
The article highlights overselling model performance and confusing customers.
Ah, yes. This is a big one. It cautions against overwhelming customers with all those technical metrics or setting unrealistic expectations.
Right, because while model performance is obviously crucial, the article makes a really interesting distinction between the metrics that are important for the development team versus how customers should evaluate the model.
Oh, I see. So it's about different perspectives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those standard technical metrics like RMSE or R squared,
Yeah.
they're essential for data scientists during the model building phase, but not necessarily relevant for customers.
Yeah, try explaining root mean squared error to a busy sales director. They probably wouldn't know what hit them.
Exactly. What customers care about are tangible results. How does the model actually perform in their real-world scenarios? They need to be able to assess the value based on their own outcomes and their own validation metrics.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about speaking their language, showing them how it benefits their business.
Precisely. And the article offers some helpful advice on that front. It suggests ensuring your performance metrics fall within reasonable and easily understandable ranges. They even give the example of an R squared greater than zero point 0.7 as a solid benchmark.
So it's about setting realistic expectations and being transparent about what the model can and can't do.
Exactly. And they also highlight the importance of a solid automated testing pipeline. This allows for continuous monitoring and improvement of the model's performance over time, ensuring it remains reliable.
Continuous improvement, that's key. Now, the article goes on to discuss what it calls the worst thing you can do, which is artificially inflating those performance numbers through malpractice.
Yeah, and they're not holding back here. This is where things get really serious. It's not just about miscommunication, it's about actively misleading stakeholders, and that can have serious consequences.
Absolutely. It erodes trust, damages your reputation, the whole nine yards. So what are some examples of these malpractices the article mentions?
Well, first up, there's model overfitting. This is when your model essentially memorizes the training data instead of actually learning the general patterns.
So it becomes too specific to the data it was trained on.
Right. It performs well on that data, but when it encounters new data, it completely falls apart.
It's like studying for an exam by just memorizing the answers instead of actually understanding the material.
Perfect analogy.
Oh.
Then there's data leakage, which the article aptly calls a silent killer in AI.
Silent but deadly.
Exactly. It happens when information from your training data sneaks into your testing data, leading to those artificially inflated performance metrics.
So it's like giving the model a sneak peek at the answers before the test. It's cheating.
Exactly. And it can be really difficult to detect. It's not always intentional, but it can completely invalidate your results.
It's like those stock tips from the future. Your past performance looks amazing, but it's all based on information you shouldn't have had.
Spot on. Another common pitfall is improper cross-validation. This involves flawed ways of splitting your data for training and evaluation.
So it's about how you set up your experiments.
Precisely. If it's done incorrectly, it can introduce biases and give you a false sense of how well your model is actually performing.
It's like drawing conclusions from a survey where you only asked your friends and family. It's not a representative sample.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's cherry-picking metrics. This is where you focus only on the metrics that make your model look good and ignore the ones that might tell a different story.
Ah, yes. The good old selective reporting. We see this everywhere, not just in AI.
True. And it can be very misleading. The article points out that this is a particularly common issue with less experienced data scientists.
They might feel pressure to showcase positive results, even if the full picture is more nuanced.
Right. And finally, there's hyperparameter tuning on the test data. This is a big no-no.
The test set is supposed to be that final untouched benchmark, right?
Absolutely. It's the gold standard for evaluating your model's true performance. If you start tweaking your model based on the results you see in the test set, you're essentially rigging the game.
It's like changing the rules of the game after you've already seen the opponent's hand. It completely defeats the purpose.
Exactly. The article emphasizes that having experienced AI experts on your team is crucial to avoid these malpractices and ensure the integrity of your performance evaluations.
It's not just about technical skills, it's about ethical considerations and responsible AI development.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the third key mistake. The article highlights overlooking the crucial need for automated data pipelines for scalability.
This is often overlooked, right?
It is. Many startups don't realize its importance until they start to scale, and then they run into all sorts of problems.
So why are automated data pipelines so crucial?
Well, for a truly scalable AI solution, you need a system that can seamlessly handle the entire data lifecycle, from ingestion and preparation to training and retraining models, and even generating those performance reports.
It's about creating a smooth and efficient end-to-end process.
Exactly. And ideally, it should all happen automatically with a single click.
That's the dream. But automation isn't just about efficiency, it's also about consistency and repeatability.
Right. The article points out that achieving optimal model performance often requires running multiple experiments, trying different approaches, and analyze the results over time.
It's an iterative process. You're constantly learning and refining.
Exactly. And to make meaningful comparisons between those experiments, your data pipeline needs to be absolutely consistent across every single run.
So even small variations in how the data is handled can skew your results.
Precisely. And the only way to guarantee that level of consistency is through automation.
Makes sense. The article also gives some vivid examples of what not to do, like receiving data via email, manually cleaning and preparing it, or constantly updating configuration files for each experiment.
Yeah, those are all red flags. If any of that sounds familiar, you need to prioritize building those automated pipelines.
It's not just about making things easier, it's about ensuring the reliability and scalability of your AI product.
Absolutely. So to recap the three major mistakes, the article highlights are choosing the wrong use case, overselling model performance, and neglecting automated data pipelines.
And as we've discussed, these mistakes can have a significant ripple effect throughout your entire product strategy.
Precisely. And the article makes a really important point about this. It cautions against letting the sales team, or anyone for that matter, dictate changes to the product strategy without a deep understanding of the AI implications.
That's a potential recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
You can end up chasing unrealistic promises and ultimately damaging your credibility.
It's exactly. Sales teams are understandably focused on revenue, but they might not always grasp the technical nuances of AI or the limitations of the current technology.
And that can lead to them pushing for use cases that just aren't feasible or overselling the capabilities of the model.
Right. It's crucial to have a close collaboration between the sales and product teams. They need to be on the same page, working together as a finely tuned system.
It's about open communication, shared understanding, and mutual respect for each other's expertise.
Absolutely. Sales are important, but they can't come at the expense of sound AI development practices.
Couldn't agree more. You need to balance the drive for revenue with the realities of AI development.
Exactly. And that requires empowering the sales team with the knowledge they need to make informed decisions.
It's about equipping them to be effective advocates for the product while staying grounded in what's truly achievable with AI.
Well said. So to sum up, this deep dive has been all about safeguarding your AI startup's product strategy by avoiding these common pitfalls in use case selection, performance, communication, and data pipelines.
It's about finding that balance between ambition and practicality, ensuring rigorous development practices, and fostering strong collaboration across all your teams.
Exactly. And I hope this discussion has provided our listeners with valuable insights and practical guidance that they can apply to their own AI journeys.
I hope so too. If you found this deep dive valuable and want to continue exploring more important and practical topics in the world of artificial intelligence, be sure to follow Artificial Intelligence Unorthodox Lessons wherever you get your podcasts.
We're constantly diving into the real-world challenges and solutions in the AI space, and we'd love for you to join us.
And before we wrap up, I have a thought-provoking question for our listeners. Considering these potential pitfalls we've discussed, what fundamental shifts in team communication and education do you think are most crucial for an AI startup's long-term success?
That's a great question for our listeners to ponder. We'd love to hear their thoughts.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you in our next deep dive into the fascinating world of AI. Until next time.